may be the biggest thing that's ever happened.
Wherever there is injustice, you will find us. Wherever there is suffering, we'll be there. Wherever liberty is threatened, you will find
Three AmiVO's. Dave McRae, Garnet Williams, Mike Pongracz. Separately, they are humble Canadian voiceover superstars. Together, they are the Three AmiVO's.
Ladies and gentlemen,
here we go.
And now, the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast.
everyone ready?
Yeah.
Hit it.
I'm waiting for the throwdown. I really am. I'm waiting for the
Garnet and
throwdown.
I love each other.
I know, but there's this.
We're romantic.
I know, romantic in a Ike and Tina kind of way. I'm just saying. This could be an It's a good thing that we've got a female on the show today. Let's begin. Welcome to this edition of the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast. To my left, AmiVO Dave McRae.
Hello, yes.
In front of me, AmiVO Garnet Williams. I am AmiVO Mike Pongracz. Welcome. We did get an interesting email. It was somebody, there was a discussion on one of the Facebook groups that was, again, the union, non-union, SAG-AFTRA, FICOR, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And in Canada, it's ACTRA, non-union,
Yeah.
essentially. Which brought up the age-old discussion of, well, union voices are far better than non-union voices.
That's right.
No, non-union voices are just as good as union voices.
Oh, what are you talking about? Union voices are far better than non-union.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Don't make me come over there.
And then all of a sudden, this big
feel like I'm watching a
balloon-
cartoon.
Yeah, no, it's what it's kind of what it is.
Because
Yeah.
we're doing the fists
That's
thing,
That's
too.
what
like,
it is.
Come on.
Want some sound effects?
Hey there! Don't you be talking about bad stuff to me. I'll suck you in the nose. Yeah, exactly.
Biff. Pow.
But they brought up that whole point, and it was the discussion that union voices are better quality than non-union, where we generally kind of take a little bit of exception to that, mainly because we are, in Canada, still considered non-union voice actors.
Right.
And by choice in many cases. And that's just, I think it's a different nature of the beast up here than it is down south and,
Well, you
and
know,
all that stuff. But
It's interesting because, I mean, I've been full-time since 2006, and I'm non-union. I've never been union. I mean, everybody who's union starts off non-union at some point anyway.
Right.
And I was asked, actually, the other day, which is true, if I had ever considered going union. And I said, at this point in the game, in the voiceover side of things, now, if you're dealing with on-camera acting, that might be a different game altogether. But in the voiceover world in Canada, I can't necessarily speak directly in the States because there's some differences there. But in Canada, more and more production companies, studios, networks are going non-union. And they're going non-union. Not that there's anything wrong with union. There isn't at all. But they're going non-union because they realize they can get the same top-notch talent, for the most part, for a fraction of the cost to them, and it eliminates a lot of the paperwork, but it's still really good money for the talent. Now, having said that, if you're non-union, yes, you do lose out on the residuals, which can be, depending on the project or what you're doing, can be a nice chunk of change. Usually in non-union, if it's a big gig or a big project or a big campaign, they might pay you for the national TV ad, and then they might pay you a lump sum to buy you out. But, that lump sum could be $1,000, and the payment of the ad could be, say, $600 or $700. Well, to be in a studio for half an hour, and to walk away with close to $2,000 is not that bad. Now that's ballpark. That doesn't happen all the time. That there isn't a set rate. But this idea that you need, in order to be a true professional, in order to be considered a professional, in order to have made it, you need to be union is just absolutely
bullshit.
Ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
Oh, he said
I'm
he
saying-
went
I'm
there.
saying-
Okay, he's saying it.
I'm
It's
saying it.
ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Now, I'm not knocking the union.
No.
There are wonderful, absolutely awesome benefits, no pun intended, because you actually do get benefits, to being in the union. All I'm saying is that it's this whole idea that somehow non-union is somehow... I don't like that that the union is used as a status. It shouldn't be used as a status. It should be used as simply a union. That's essentially what it is.
It's a personal choice on what path you want your career to take.
Yeah.
Mike and I both really interested in animation, but right now in Canada, the way things are, a lot of animation work is union only.
Something I will say. Sorry,
if we did want to transition to that, we would have to make our own personal choice on whether or not to join the union. Right now, not at the top of my to-do list.
I will say too that I actually am very interested in animation as well. I would love to get into animation. There's a lot of voices just wanting to get out. Having said that, I do understand, like you said, Garnet, that most of the animation work in Canada is locked up by the union people. So if you wanted to go
high-profile stuff. I mean, you can get
small
stuff. Fair amount of small independent studios.
There's web stuff, independent stuff, apps, and all kinds of animation like that. But I'm talking like network cartoons and whatnot,
right?
And movies and stuff tend to hire through the union only.
But to paint all non-union voice talent as being not as professional, I don't buy that. Although I will admittedly say that there are a lot of non-union talent who claim to be professional that really aren't.
Well, that's the problem, is that it's saturated. The non-union market is saturated, and especially with these P2P sites, not knocking them. I mean, they have their place, and some of them work very well. It's a part of the marketing plan. But having said that, there's no. Essentially, anybody with a credit card and a microphone can sign up. So there's no screening process.
There's no vetting. Whereas
it's saturated.
Some of the P2Ps they actually do. They ask you to give your credits, and they want a recording of your voice dry. They want to hear how
that's how it should be.
The noise floor is in your studio, and
right.
they'll get back to you. And once you're approved, then they will. Accept your membership.
Be.
But others, USB microphone and $300 and you're in.
Yeah, exactly. So I just, I feel very strongly about it because I get asked a lot about it, and I just sort of, it really irks me, I guess, because I look at how hard I've worked and how hard I've fought to be where I am, and how hard you guys have worked and fought to be where you are, and the work that we have behind us and our portfolios and things like that, and many others out there who are non-union who have some work there, and to be considered that you're not really taken seriously until you join the union. I mean, there are a lot of people who are in the union who are no better than people who are not in the union. Yeah. And there are people who are really good in the union, and there are people who are not so really good. And there are non-union people who are really good and non-union people who aren't really good. So it shouldn't be used as a status.
I think what Dave's trying to say is, can't we all just get along?
That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
I know.
And what you were touching on earlier, Mike, it's true. Like there's so many.
That was a little harsh, wasn't it?
It's all right,
no, it's
Dave.
fine. It's okay.
I like Angry Dave.
Okay. Angry Dave's fun.
Because I totally respect the union, and I respect those who are in it. I'm just saying,
No, it's
Don't make Dave angry, Mr. McGee. You wouldn't like Dave when he's angry.
Don't make me angry.
Oh, no, he's turning green.
The point you touched on as well, Mike, is a lot of companies that used to deal specifically with union are making the switch because they realize that the caliber of talent is just as good.
That's right.
But it comes at less of a cost. And companies these days, they are more focused on driving down those expenditures, those advertising budgets and stuff like that, and saving some money where they can. And just recently, I got called in to Voice for Client, and they told me that they normally use union, and this is them switching to non-union just because they realize that they're not going to lose in the quality department.
That's right.
So why not try and save a buck?
Well, that right there will open up that right there would be the argument for that the unions will jump on and say that you are, because of that, you are driving down the price or the value of what a spot would normally be for the talent. And I get it from their side, and
I get that.
And you can see from every side, it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
If you're good, you're going to make money. If you're good, you're going to get booked. If you're not, you're not. And
whether you're in the union or non-union.
That's right. And for us now too, I mean, we have a lot of reoccurring gigs and clients that if we were to make that transition, we would lose a lot of that.
Yeah,
which is tough.
Again, at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. It's a business decision for you, and Daddy's got to eat. So if you're okay with working for peanuts, then so be it. I mean, again, not everybody that's in voiceover does this full time. There are a lot of people.
That's right.
And the argument somebody always throws up the Fiverr argument, and you know what? Yeah, that's great. And there are people that do that on Fiverr because for them, it's like, hey, easy $5.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not their job.
Yeah. That's right.
And then you'll get the other side saying, well, that's because, with all this, it's driving. No, quality clients will always pay for quality talent.
Any client that would continuously use Fiverr is not a client I would like to have.
Exactly.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's
there.
right. Absolutely.
So I don't know. I don't see the point in getting all up in arms on it on Facebook and arguing about people that use Fiverr and stuff like that, because you know what? Do you want that client? No, then move on and let the bottom feeders have them.
The only thing that I just wish would change is the mindset that the union is somehow this status, and that's what I wish would change.
But you know what? I think it'll continue to be that. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Absolutely will.
And it's no different than the ISDN argument.
That's right.
ISDN will always be around because that's just the way it is. Well, until the telecoms finally knock it off.
But it's really expensive. I looked into getting it one time in my home studio, and I was like, I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I'll just use my speakerphone
or cheaper, just go
rotary
rent
phone.
some time in a studio.
Yeah, well, that's what
okay, did we get our angry out?
I think we got I feel I'm in a good place now.
Because you know what? Had we continued, our guest would have probably
sent us to our rooms.
In. Yeah. And because she's got that voice.
She's got that mom voice.
And she's also got the brand.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think we've given enough away, even though people already know who the guest is. But it's a nice little segue.
It is.
Our guest on the VOdcast coming up after the break. Very exciting. It's our second female guest to add a little bit of sense to our conversations. She's also a Voxy lady and a talented and a successful voiceover actress, actor, talent. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
All of the above.
Mom. She's a mom. She's a mom. Mom.
Diane Merritt joins us on the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast right after this AmiVO iceberg tip.
The 3 AmiVO's.
Warning. We'll be right back.
Changing the voiceover industry 1 toque at a time.
We're going to take a little break, but we'll be back in a while, so don't nobody go nowhere.
Here's another 3 AmiVO's iceberg tip.
Hey folks, AmiVO Dave here. Have you ever been in a studio before where you're reading a script and there's a word in that script that you have trouble with? Everybody's got a word in their life that when they say it, it kind of doesn't roll off the tongue as well as it should. Well, what I do is I circle the word so that when I'm reading the script, I can actually see it in my peripheral. Hang on one second. I got to circle this. Okay. Now, you see it coming down the page in your peripheral vision. See? That's the point I'm making. So it's almost like subconsciously I'm getting ready for it, but I'm not losing focus of my read because I can see it circled. I can see it coming down the page so that when I get to that word, I find that I tend to coast through it and coast over it a lot more smoothly than I would had I not circled the word. Because if you don't circle it, it still comes as a surprise. It still sort of comes as a surprise to you. It sneaks up on you if you don't circle it. But circling it, it's not sneaky anymore because you're aware that it's there. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it's something to definitely keep in mind. So if you have trouble with a certain word in a script, find out how to say it, of course, first, and then circle the word. Anyway, my name's Dave McRae. Now back to the show.
And now, the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Hit it.
Welcome back to the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour VOdcast. Dave, you just inhaled and you didn't exhale there.
I didn't. No,
I was waiting for because you had the big victory arms.
I did. It's all about yoga,
Oh, really?
I'm trying to get into it now.
Boga.
No, not really.
Yoga.
Not really. It just sounded good at the time.
Nice work, Dave.
I'm going to run with that, by the way. We're going to have a section on the website and sell
called
a course.
AmiVO yoga courses?
The AmiVoga course. AmiVoga course. I'm working on it. Shut up.
This is terrible. It doesn't get any better than this. Oh, yes, it does.
It does.
Because joining us, I'm very excited, the wonderful Diane Merritt, everybody!
Hi, guys.
Hello, and welcome to our VOdcast. You are only the second female that we've had on the show, if I'm not mistaken, gentlemen.
That's correct.
Yes, it's
Jody
true.
Krangle being the
Wow.
first, but also
I love
both
Jody.
both have been Voxy ladies.
That's right.
Yes.
Indeed. Now, Diane, who you're very well known. I mean, in the circles and the groups, very well known. You got a chance to sort of hook up with Garnet a few months back. Is it a few months now? Or is it
We
little
have
bit
a
more
mutual friend
Yeah.
from my radio past by the name of Kelly Duck.
Oh.
Yes.
Who was friends with Diane, and Kelly said, "Oh, you should contact Diane sometime to say hi. She's a really nice person." And I said, "Well, the VO industry, unlike any other industry on the world, you can just call up a stranger and say, 'Hey, you're a VO, I'm a VO, we should be friends.'" And so I
Yes,
did
you
it.
can.
I did it one day, and Diane, God bless her, we ended up sitting for about 2 hours back and forth on Facebook. Just where'd you grow up, and how'd you get into this, and who do you know? And it was a great night.
Wow.
So there you go. And now we're besties.
Now we're
You're
best friends.
Besties. Now, Diane, what's very cool about you, and I love the way that you've branded your voiceover business. This mom means business.
Yes.
It's such a brilliant way to market yourself, especially with your sound, because I'm telling you, in just the few minutes that we've chatted, you have that total, like, oh, I better not say anything bad because mom's going to yell at me.
You're grounded.
That's exactly, that's
Yes.
it. It's that whole sort of motherly thing. Is that something that you realized early on and thought, hey, I think I'm going to really focus on that part of my game and see how that does?
Well, I just think it's fitting. I've got 3 kids, and my daughter is she's just gone off to college, and I have twin boys who are now high school seniors.
Wow.
And so yeah, having twins kind of
Keeps you on your toes.
yeah, sure does.
Let's go back in your background now. You've had a previous life in another profession. Do we want to even talk about that? Because I know
Sure.
as you know, as also Garnet and I are former, well, one of us is former of that profession. The industry still seems to kind of not so much poo-poo on us, but there's always that twitch. It's almost that nervous twitch if you say, I used to work in radio. Mm-hmm. Tell us, how did you go from radio to a very successful voiceover career?
Well, I was in radio for a very long time, and when it used to be fun when it was the mom and pops and things like that, and when corporate took over, I knew it was just a matter of time, and stations all across the country were downsizing and becoming skeletal staffs. I just knew, again, it was a matter of time. And I was ready. I had had enough. And so I finally put in my resignation. Well, I built my studio first. I built my studio in 2005 and started building up my client base.
Nice.
And by 2008, I found that my full-time job was interfering with my voiceover profession.
Which is that's usually the telltale sign, is that when your day job becomes a burden to a flourishing moonlighting job, that's when you have that discussion with your significant other as to, you know what, I'm thinking I might leave the benefits and the steady paycheck for this other thing.
Exactly. And so I put in my resignation, and I left radio in April of 2008. And in June of 2008, just 2 months later, they had their bloodletting and everybody was let go. So
Wow.
I was ready, and I quit on my own terms, and I wasn't unprepared. Like a lot of people were in the radio business, and when they got fired, they weren't ready to get out of radio.
Right.
So they're out there floating around and wondering, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We don't know how to do anything else. We'll do voiceover. Excuse me. And it's not an easy thing to do, jump from radio into voiceover, because most of us think, well, I've done this all my life, I can do it. And then once you get in it, you're like, whoa, this is completely different. And you have to go through a whole retraining process.
You do. And it's interesting that you mentioned that about, and I don't know if are you talking about when Clear Channel decided to do all their gutting? Or
Clear Channel, Cumulus.
Yeah, I mean, up here, that's something that's gone on over the last couple of weeks when one of our major telecoms bought out one of the largest radio broadcasters across Canada. And now they've started doing that, and I'm starting to see guys that I used to work with who spent 20, 30 years in radio who are now, they got the nice golden parachute and are trying to figure out what they're going to do. And they look at ex-radio people that have made the transition and are doing well in voiceover, thinking, I can just, if you've got an agent, just, tell them to call me and we'll do this. They have no idea. And it's kind of sad because a lot of these people that were in radio, that defined them, that defined their character, that defined their personality, that without it, they're lost. And they think, voiceover, I've done this for 20 years. And you can testify to that. I can, Garnet as well, that it is a completely different skill set that you need to unlearn. Well, you have to learn and unlearn the radio. And it's a tough go, especially because, as I mentioned earlier, the ad agencies, casting directors, they still have this negative, well, you sound like an announcer.
Yeah, you you got to get it out. You got to make that switch, and it's not an easy one. And some people just don't realize it.
So how did you make your switch? Now, there's always talk that coaching, it's a very important part of a successful voiceover career. Did you take on coaching or take on some coaches that helped you work through that transition from being a broadcaster in radio to being a voice talent?
Maybe not necessarily making the transition, but basically just trying to start from scratch. I did coaching. I went to many conferences where, of course, you'd be learning so much in these conferences. Like I went to Voice 2010 and Voice 2012, the FAFCON. I've even been to Vox 2012 in London, and that was fantastic. But coaching, I've coached with Pat Fraley, and most recently Joyce Castellanos, Mark Cashman, and Bill Holmes as well. So, and Bill Holmes was the one who did my who did my commercial demo.
Very nice. Well, we saw the Facebook posting today, the nice little shot of you with Bill there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody liked that, and it popped up again. That was taken back in 11 when I.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Oh, so it's a while ago.
Yeah.
So now, what was the one thing that you you personally had to work on to go from the radio into the voiceover? Because there are a lot of people that are making that move. What's one technique or one thing that worked for you, or that sort of light bulb that went on in your head and that said, "Oh, that's what I need to do in order to not sound radio"?
Yeah, to get that conversational feel. Although, I think Terry Daniel had put something up today as well on Facebook is, don't rule out the announcer read, because some people still want it. So at least you got it in your pocket if you need it. They're still doing infomercials, and they're not going to change their ways. But to find that conversational, real person read, it's talking to one person. Even Maurice LaMarche just last weekend when we were all together for Apalooza in Atlanta, that's what he was telling everybody. Just, you got to talk to one person.
Fascinating.
So I think, too, what helps is, getting into a script, a little tip from Nancy Wolfson, is when you have your script in front of you, what was said before that line? So you think of something that will get you into that line to answer it or to say it more real. Right.
It's called, I guess it could be called many different things, but I refer to it as a lead-in line.
Exactly.
And I know exactly what you're talking about with that. Mm-hmm. What would you say, Diane, is the most difficult part of making the transition from radio to voiceover, something that you might not have expected to be so hard, or maybe something that you didn't even think of?
I just, well, I think just, getting the announcer out is really probably the toughest part.
Right.
Another thing that was a welcome from making the switch from radio into the voiceover industry is our community.
Sure.
It is like none other I've ever experienced. Now, I haven't worked in a lot of jobs, so I can't really speak for other corporations or other types of businesses, but I never hear other people talking about their jobs like we talk about our jobs, and about the people that we work with and are friends with. We're always there to help each other.
It's a big sort of family community.
It is. It's a family. But in radio, sometimes when I would reach out for help, I didn't get that help.
Well, because everybody was so worried about their spot.
Yes,
with
right.
radio, as a junior announcer, it was always tough to talk to the veterans, because the better you got, the less they wanted to talk to you.
That's right.
Because it's like, what are you trying to take my seat? And really, it's just, you want to learn. You're just a sponge. There's no, I think it might also be like different generations, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of job protection. Whereas in voiceover, it seems there's enough work out there.
Yeah.
And if you're talented, you'll find work. And I'm sure that you and I will probably not, even if we did compete for something.
Yeah,
I don't think it would be. I'm like, hey, you get it, great. With the AmiVO's,
yeah, the three of us, we compete all the time.
This is a very unique structure. Not only do we compete for the same, a lot of the same stuff because we have similar sounding voices, we all work for the same agency.
Yeah,
and we're friends, but we encourage each other, and we,
Well, we're like, we
root
vent
for each other all the time.
We root, we vent.
That's right. Absolutely.
You're right. I wouldn't see. I've never seen that in another industry where people would be that in competition but still be friends.
And it's not that it's not that the sort of cutthroat. What are you trying to do? Take my seat doesn't exist in VO, but it's very minimal as compared to something like radio or television or something like that.
I think you'll find
at least from our experiences.
Well, you'll have the people that are maybe struggling or disgruntled that will they'll take their shots here and there.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I think the community is fantastic, and part of that community that that's built, it also spills over into sort of subgroups and sub projects.
That's right.
Which in your case, and it's funny because as we joined on just before the VOdcast, you were on another call with Lisa Biggs.
Yes.
And you're part of the Voxy Ladies, which that organization alone, I think over the last at least the last couple of years has really you've made a stamp on VO that the people outside of the VO community have taken notice. That and it's an amazing thing. The stuff that the Voxy Ladies do, not only behind the mic, but in the communities and for charity, is phenomenal. And I saw today there was a nice picture that Lisa had posted of a box that showed up from the good folks at Sennheiser/Neumann in with regards to a project, an upcoming event that you guys are going to be spearheading.
Yes, it's we raise we collect costumes, either new costumes or gently used costumes for children who can't afford costumes, and we distribute them wherever our boxes are going to be. We have them in Los Angeles, in Chicago, in New York, in Charlotte, in Asheville. I think it's some in Atlanta. So, excuse me, we've got these boxes all over the country, and we're collecting these costumes for kids. And if you go and donate and get a picture of yourself next to the box, and you take a picture and you tag yourself in it, for the Voxy Ladies and Sennheiser as well, you'll be entered into a drawing, and there's a brand new microphone that there's only one, actually. There's only one made. I don't know if you've seen the microphone.
No.
But it's I think is it a Sennheiser or Neumann? You know what? I can't remember, but it's it's chromed out.
Wow.
It's
like
Pimped out Mike.
The pimped out Mike.
I'm getting.
What should be the name of your new show?
I could call it myself. Yeah,
I'm getting
Pimped Out
heart
Mike.
palpitations right now just thinking about
But
that
see,
possibility.
But that is it's an amazing initiative, and I mean the members of the Voxy ladies. I mean, we discussed. We talked with Jody Krangle, and I think Glad Faith Klassen
Yes.
is also
Glad's
a
on
Voxy
there
member.
too.
Yeah.
I think Amanda Sellers is a Voxy lady too, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes.
I mean, it's an amazing collective, and what you as a group do is phenomenal. And not to mention, it's also kind of neat that you guys got the old Time Magazine shout out.
Yeah, that was really cool. They had called Lisa, and they went ahead and interviewed her for the Voxy Ladies, and of course, in connection with In a World with Lake Bell.
Yes.
Right. No, it's
Yeah.
great. It's a great thing you guys are doing because it's not just a group that exists. It's a group that actually is doing something, not only giving back to the VO community as a whole, but you're giving back to other areas as well, which is fantastic to see. It just it really is a special sort of group because what you guys are doing is just fantastic, and I think from this point, if you continue to do it, I think it's only going to get bigger and bigger and more well known, which is just great. It's a really positive thing, which is really great to see.
Yeah, it's fun, and we've got a great group of girls, and we're just sharing the love and
Sharing the love with a smile.
And that's the community. It's the sharing of the love.
Now, as Dave mentioned, doing charitable works and stuff like that, fantastic. But he also mentioned doing stuff for the voiceover community, which I've noticed the Voxy ladies and yourself putting together most recently events like Apalooza.
yes, that was so fun.
I'm a huge fan of animation actors and Rob Paulson especially. AmiVO Mike and I were fortunate enough to meet him when he came north of the border
Kanji, that's right.
to visit back in February and had a nice little chat with him. So when we saw, we contemplated hopping a flight and heading out for the weekend that just passed. But how did these events come together, and how much fun are they? Because they look like a lot of fun on this side of the glass.
Very fun. Well, of course, Dragon Con was going on in Atlanta, and Maurice and LaMarche and Rob Paulson were going to be there for Dragon Con. So Lisa's been helping Rob putting together Apalooza and getting people to to classes where Rob's going to be. And excuse me, Maurice had joined him this time, and so we made it the Apalooza with Maurice LaMarche as well. And we just try to, pump the information out there and get people to the class. And it was just absolutely wonderful.
What was I was sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was
No.
going to say, what was the best thing you got out of the meeting with Rob and Maurice? Like, what did you take away from that as a voice talent that is successful, that has a track record? What did you take away from their workshop?
Wow, that's tough. I've got 2 pages of notes.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's just little tiny things that you're like, oh, that I really like that. It's things that sometimes even you already know, but it's like a kick in the ass,
True, and if you're going to get a kick in the ass, you may as well get it from Pinky in the Brain. I'm
Yep.
thinking.
Oh,
That's exactly
yeah,
right.
they're the best, and it reaffirms what you're doing, and even if you've been kind of slacking off on it, or it realigns you and gets you back on track. So I took a lot away from that, and everybody had a lot of chances to read some copy, and had a lot of fun with it, and they were very, very helpful. And just listening from their experiences, you learn from what they've been through, and you just want it even more.
Yeah.
It's sort
And
of like
you're willing to
a
work harder.
Yeah, it's sort of like a confirmation. I can imagine that a lot of talent who take part in these kinds of things, they're contemplating certain moves, or should I? Maybe that's not the right thing to do, or they think they should, but I don't really know. And then they go and meet someone like Rob, who's had a plethora of experience and is at the top of his game, who basically says, without saying it, yes, you should do this, based on his own experiences. And it's sort of that confirmation that you get, whereas there's all those questions you're wondering about, but by attending these things, you realize by the end, yes, I need to do this, or yes, I should be doing this.
Well, it's the next level as well, because you can go and get, if you're looking for somebody to convince you that you're on the right path, there are any number of voiceover coaches across North America.
Absolutely. Hey, Garnet, give me $10. I'll tell you should stay in VO.
Awesome. Really? Will you critique my demo too?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Send it to my my secretary.
But to go
Which is
to
me.
for lack of a better term, A-listers.
Okay.
People that have been on the Hollywood scene, not just the VO scene, but Hollywood, motion pictures, high-profile cartoons, national commercials, all the the really plum jobs, and they're veterans in that. There's no better validation than it coming from them, as opposed to somebody who hasn't achieved that level of success.
And this kind of comes back around to what you were saying earlier, Diane, about radio being not so inviting for espousing information.
That's right.
Guys like Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche have no trouble telling you exactly how it is, and if you have a question, ask it. I mean, and that's what's it's great about the VO community, is that the people on top, I mean, even guys like Joe Cipriano, drop an email and ask him a question. He'll tell you.
Oh, for sure.
And Bob Bergen as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Bob Bergen will listen to your demo and give you a really good, honest critique.
Well, what's really cool is that I unfortunately didn't have a chance to meet Rob back in February when AmiVO, Mike, and Garnet did, but it was about maybe a month and a half ago, I think it was. I was getting ready to move, and I was going through some whole old things and photos and stuff, and I came across this photo of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was the cartoon, and it was a photo of all of them, and there was I forget what it said now exactly, but on it said, to Dave, don't eat too much pizza, or something along those lines, Cowabunga, Rob Paulson.
Get out.
And I sat there and I thought, oh my God. I mean, I was probably maybe like 12 or 11 when, it was signed. And I had no idea. And it's just sort of funny that, 25 years later, you have this sort of photo, and I thought it was really, really neat. So I hope one day soon that I'll have the chance to meet him, because I've heard nothing but amazing things about the guy, and he just sounds like so much fun and so
Rob
much.
And Maurice are two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Now, you've been friends with Maurice for a while, right?
Yes. Yeah. Maurice and I have been friends for a while, and he's fantastic, and he's always there to help and encourage, and his career is just thriving. Well, unfortunately, Futurama's last episode was last night.
Yeah.
So that was kind of sad.
Yeah, but he got his Emmy.
Yes, he got two consecutive Emmys.
Well deserved.
Not too shabby.
For Futurama,
Well deserved.
so he did.
Now, wasn't that show canceled and then brought back
by the
fans? Kind of like what Family Guy did a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
That's neat. Well, so now we talk about the success of Rob Paulson and Maurice LaMarche. Diane, what's going on with you? Like, what's exciting and happening and on the horizon for you?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm the promo voice for the WB network in India and Pakistan.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. That's been a really fun job. In fact, they had just sent me some of the promos that they have put together. And so I've been watching those this afternoon, and they've been kind of fun to watch. But they sent them in. I'm having troubles with them because they're in these FLV files, and
flash video files.
Yeah, I'm trying to convert them to MP4s. So I'm trying to figure that out. And I feel like I've got just this little bit of geek in me, but it's kind of making me mad because I can't quite figure it out. So,
I got this geek in me, but I can't figure out how to get him out.
I know.
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Wondershare. Look up Wondershare.
Well, that's I actually have been just trying that out, and when I transfer it over, I guess it transfers the video transfers, but the audio doesn't. So I'm having.
I suck with geekdom now. Apparently,
could you send them an email and ask them perhaps to send you an MP4?
I'll have to try that. It's been a while. I've been asking them for the files for a long time, and they've been so busy.
I only mention it because it's happened to me in the past where I've gotten some Flash files before, and I've sort of said, "Hey, do you think you can send it in like an MOV file?" And they do. So that's something that you can try too.
But that's so cool. So promo imaging voice. You're still doing a ton of commercial work as well. What do you find with your career is the big? It's the big wheelhouse. It's where you get most of your work these days. Is it through commercial? Is it through explainer videos, which seems to be the big booming?
They're taking off
segment now.
Mm-hmm. I do a lot of narration.
You have a great narration voice.
You do.
Oh, thanks.
You do. I'm going to listen to this VOdcast every night before I go to bed.
I just finished up a project for ExxonMobil, and it took a year to do.
Wow.
Yeah, I've worked on it for a whole year. So it was quite lengthy. But I almost miss it. So...
But with a voice like yours and with a track record like yours, I mean, the next job is only a click away at this point.
Yeah. I just I try to keep as busy as I can.
The modesty kicks.
The modesty kicks.
Stuff.
I love
Diane,
it.
what part of voiceover? What area would you love to do that you're not doing now, or maybe you're not doing enough of now?
Oh gosh, I would love to do some more video game stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
I did one video game, and it was so much fun. And in fact, can you swear on the show?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure, go right ahead.
For shits and giggles.
Oh my God, she said the S word.
I went and I downloaded the game I was on because I could play the trial, but I've it's been a while since I've done it, so I went ahead and bought it. It was like only $2 or something, so I went ahead and got it, and I've been having fun. It's almost on the same lines of that Candy Crush thing.
Oh yeah,
yes.
But it's called
when those things take off,
which I've never
Coffee
played.
Rush.
Coffee Rush.
And I play the bride in it, so it's just kind of fun, and I had a blast with it. Now my friend Quentin Flynn, he does a lot of video game work, so he's really that's his wheelhouse.
Well, it's networking is a very big part of our VO careers.
Absolutely.
And knowing somebody that's doing a lot of video game work, it's always good to have that sort of in your back pocket.
Yes.
Not only for advice, but also, hey, if you need, what I'm saying.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. That's really cool, Diane. Excellent.
That's awesome. Diane, your website, it's DianeMerritt.com, is it? Or is it?
At DianeMerrittVO.com.
DianeMerrittVO.com. That's 2 R's, 2 T's?
Yes.
See, I have to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Absolutely.
This mom means business. Also,
I love that tagline.
I
love
know.
it.
See, I'm not that
This
creative.
mom means business. I mean, it's so like, look out.
Well, she only has it in the States.
Don't
you
piss
can
her off.
Use it
You know
here
what I'm
in Canada,
saying?
Dave.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I could. That's
Well,
true.
you need some children first, I would
that's
think.
yeah. Well, I got my dog.
Yeah, that's true.
I have a
could
fur
use
child.
it. This Mr. Mom means business, but then Michael Keaton would probably, show up on my doorstep.
Yeah, there you go.
I forgot about that epic catastrophe.
Come on. Diane Merritt, everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
so much.
The AmiVO Vodcast, our second Voxy lady.
Yes.
I feel like we should be Voxy ladies.
We're
not
honorary Voxy ladies.
Well, no, we're not.
Well, okay, maybe not.
Okay, well, we'll try.
We can only hope.
Yeah. Man, we suck, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Well, Diane, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate this.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
The 3 AmiVO's.
Warning. We'll be right back.
Changing the voiceover industry 1 toque at a
We're
time.
gonna take a little break, but we'll be back in a while, so don't nobody go nowhere.
And now it's time for another 3 AmiVO's fun fact.
Hey there, it's AmiVO Mike. So I married into a Disney family, meaning my wife is a certified Disneyaholic. if that's a word. Now, she's been making the trek each year for the last 33 years, and by association, the last 11 years that we've been together, I have now become a Disney-aholic in training. There's a great podcast out there for us Disney folk called the Intercot Insider Podcast. Now, during their latest episode, they revealed a theme song to a new feature they do in the show. What's the tie-in? Well, lyrics and music written by my wife and her equally Disney-aholic sister, Jen. And yep, good old AmiVO Mike couldn't be left out. In my best pseudo-Randy Newman voice, I provided the vocals for their little theme song. A nice little side project that ended up being a lot of fun. So if you're a bit of a Disney Parks fan like me, after this podcast, why don't you go check out the Intercot Insiders podcast and tell them the Canadian Randy Newman sent you. Tee-hee.
And now, the AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour Vodcast.
Everyone ready?
Yeah.
And we're back!
I wasn't even going to bother jumping in there because I knew it was coming.
And we're back.
Welcome back to the AmiVO's
Want me
and
to make it
Friends.
the old thing?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Super fantastic happy hour vodcast. Our thanks again to Diane Merritt. What a great guy she was. Just
She's great.
lovely.
She's my
awesome.
bestie.
She is your
She's your
bestie.
bestie.
now.
She's my bestie.
She could be our besties, all our besties. but
No.
No, okay.
She's my mom.
She's my
Quit
bestie.
getting so defensive.
Relax.
Overprotective.
Holy snap and crap.
You know, really. Wow.
Sorry,
We started off.
guys.
We started off this.
This is awkward.
We've started off this vodcast with angry Dave, and now we're getting overprotective Garnet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's going on here?
I'm not being defensive. You're the one being defensive.
No, you are.
No, you are.
She can hang with you. That's fine.
She's great though, and again, I mean, just the stuff that that she does along with the Boxy Ladies is fantastic, and I love that. And she's just such a really nice, down to earth person.
Real.
And again,
She's real.
She's real.
Yeah.
And she's very mom-y.
She is.
Mom
She's just a
loves them.
nice, genuine sort of person, and just I sense a real sort of just authentic experience that she's had, and she's just loves talking about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's great.
and again, like what she touched on is the fact that our entire voiceover community is just that. It's a very supportive and welcoming community.
It's a family, and every now and then you have family you don't like, but you know I mean, that's what happens.
I'm looking at him right now.
I know.
I said you could hang out with her.
It's a little awkward.
okay.
This is
all right,
very
get it.
awkward.
That's
This
all
is
right.
more awkward than that, like
I'm
that
just gonna
Family
start.
Guy.
I'm just going to start talking to Lisa Biggs then instead. Okay,
Fine.
I've already talked to Lisa Biggs.
It's
fine.
like Family Guy. They shouldn't have done that awkward. You know, it's very strange.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty. If you'd like to get in touch with us, 3amivos.com is the website. Also email us at 3amivos@gmail.com. That's the number 3, AMIVOS at gmail.com.
Here's the password.
Thank you. On Twitter at the number 3 AmiVO's. If you want to get in touch with Mr. McRae over there, your website.
DaveMcRae.ca and the voiceman with 2 N's. .com. I also have to say that because
good.
people are likely to just put one N.
smart.
and-
So who has the voice man with one N that made you put 2 N's?
You know, I don't know. Let's find out.
We'll have to look that up.
Bring it up right now.
Garnet, your site
WilliamsVoiceovers.com
on Twitter.
at WilliamsVO.
Nice. See, he's quick with that. I'm still at allthingsmike.ca.
Still.
Never mind.
It
All
is
things-
changing.
it
I don't
is
think you
changing.
can change it now. I think
I know.
this has sort of become
No,
your
this is
shtick.
my shtick.
So
It is.
I don't think
never
you can
change
change it.
Although I have to say, I have registered the other domain.
Which is MP Voiceovers?
MPVoiceovers.com, which there's a placeholder there now, and also my Twitter handle at MPVoiceovers. So I'm terrible. When it comes to marketing and branding, I suck. That's plain and simple.
Yeah.
And Garnet's like, that's not the only thing you suck at. This show.
I didn't
really?
say anything.
Yeah. And we're back. Thanks a lot. For AmiVO Dave McRae.
Goodbye.
For you over there, AmiVO Garnet Williams.
You're all my besties.
It's still awkward. Like it's still awkward.
that just made-
There's like really awkward tension
And that
right
just,
now.
that just made it even more awkward.
I'm besties with everybody now.
I feel like I'm watching like a court case or something.
It's like I feel like I should be singing Double Rainbow right now. I'm AmiVO Mike Pongracz. Till next we meet, a hearty
Ole!
We are finished. We are over.
It's over.
The AmiVO's and Friends Super Fantastic Happy Hour Vodcast has been brought to you by the 3 AmiVO's.
Show's over.
It was written, recorded, edited, and produced from deep within the Great White North by Dave McRae, Garnet Williams, and Mike Pongracz.
Are we going bye-bye?
For more AmiVO fun, questions, or comments, check us out online at 3